To be or not to be. To be or not to be. To be or not to be. But I am. I am. I am. Excuse me. Excuse me while I relinquish, while I dispose of this pose there. There is something that I need to disclose. So before we proceed any further with this deed, I must concede. Not to sound too demanding, so that there is no misunderstanding. I must confess. I must confess without duress. I must confess that I am a poetry pusher. Yes, I push poetry. I am a poetry pusher. I purposely push poetry intentionally. Did I mention that I push poetry with intention? I purposely push poetry intentionally to people in public places and sometimes privately too. I am pushing poetry to you right now. I am a poetry pusher, and I want you, and I want you, and I want you to be a poetry pusher too. Now that I have that out of the way, my purpose here today is to sway, to encourage you in the best way that I know how to employ the art of spoken word poetry as a mechanism for effective storytelling. No, scratch that. As a mechanism for super effective storytelling. No, scratch that too. As a mechanism for super duper effective storytelling. Yes, super duper effective storytelling. Yes. My guess is by now, many of you perhaps have seen the obscene, the breathera, the deathera, the plethora, the huge deluge, the overflowing funload of YouTube videos featuring a host of storytelling heroes discussing the many benefits to effective storytelling. Yes, effective. Just effective. Merely effective. Not super duper effective, mind you, but just effective. I mean, if we must paint we must. I mean, if the purpose is to paint, if the purpose is to paint a picture, if the purpose is to paint a perfect picture, I mean, shouldn't we insist in painting an even more perfect picture, more vividly? Precisely. Now, however, I don't possess the capacity to adequately explain what happens inside the human brain during this magical storytelling time of flowing rivers of rhythm and rhyme, of knowing and sharing. But there are these chemicals. Yes, chemicals. Oxytocin, endorphins, dopamine, and that's not all. There's another one called cortisol. And so I figured by the time my talk is over, you will have been triggered by at least one of these. Please. Now, do you see? To be or not to be. But I am. I am a poetry pusher. I push poetry, and I want you I want you to be a poetry pusher too. So I will use my pen, my pencil, whatever the utensil, to craft a piece of spoken word poetry that will inspire you to use this powerful art form to tell your company's amazing story. I will even go a step beyond. I will even use a crayon. If that is all that is at hand, I will even write my words here in this red sand. Understand? Because I am a poetry pusher. I push poetry. I purposely push poetry intentionally to people in public places and sometimes privately too. I am a poetry pusher, and I am pushing poetry to you right now. I am a poetry pusher, and I want you to be a poetry pusher too. Spoken word poetry. Spoken word poetry is a powerful art form, a powerful form of expression that allows us to convey emotion, evoke imagery, and to explore the depths of the human experience by arousing the senses through carefully crafted words. As a Alachua County's poet laureate, I was commissioned by the county to compose a poem that captured the culture and the essence of this beautiful place that many of us call home. The poem that I crafted is Eden, and it goes a little something like this. Not long ago, just yesterday, when the earth was still cooled from creation, the Timucua named this land Alachua out of admiration. Alachua, 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 where sweet waters ripple, rivers rise and sink, where we sing songs on the Santa Fe and bask in crystal clear springs. Alachua, Alachua, Alachua. And so there are others, fathers and mothers called to a greater collective. Alachua, Archer, Gainesville, Hawthorne, High Springs, La Crosse, Newberry, Micanopy, Waldo, because we know together we are an elegant tapestry, a beautiful place, an Eden in the south, where sweet waters ripple, rivers rise and sink, where we sing songs on the Santa Fe and bask in crystal clear springs. Alachua, 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 where in the moment Bo Diddley's his sister Hazel and Tom Petty's his brother Willie Green's blues and all the other expressive hues. Alachua, 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 where we hike and we bike and we explore divine trails, all to discover how it feels in a forest full of fireflies. Oh, the awe of beauty and wonder. Alachua, 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 where each day we are called to witness the glory of the sun as it beckons orange in a sea of blue above the vast prairie run, and the rays tilt to heaven's perspective, and the golden day glistens, and the sawgrass listens to the cattails telling the cypress trees swaying in the slow evening breeze. And gators growl. And gators growl, and gators chomp, and gators do what gators do in the gator swamp. And we fare, and we festival, and we dance alive as the symphony plays in the great hall chamber. A ballerina leaps from a cloud above the hippodrome, and the ovations stand as innovation and tech hold tight our clever hand, and art speaks in all its many sacred tongues conceived, at the angle of beauty achieved, in the wild spaces and the public places where nature and culture meet. Alachua County, Florida, our Eden in the South. Visit Gainesville, Alachua County. When I scroll through all my connections on LinkedIn, I cannot help but to wonder, where did all these business ventures, these journeys begin? Something believed, a concept conceived, an idea doodled on a scrap piece of paper, captured there this time before it becomes a forgotten vapor. That aha moment, that aha moment, that aha moment that shook the earth, that aha moment when you gave birth to your business. And now comes the glory, to be about the business of telling your company's amazing story. So behold, once upon a time, once upon a glorious time, in your company's creative realm divine, where dreams and actions intertwine, there resides a force that influences our arts, a force that shapes our very inquisitive, industrious thoughts of that grand design, a word PowerPoint so potent it can blow your mind. I call this power poetry, and I am offering this power to you. Use this power to tell your company's amazing story. Thank you.